Welcome to Financial Investing Radio, where you'll learn the secrets for consistent, high-probability returns in the financial markets for additional income to change your life. Grant applies consistent, high-probability trading systems for the financial markets. He's only recently started sharing these tried and true market secrets. As a gift to listeners, Grant is offering his roadmap to high-probability financial control. Go to financialinvestingradio.com and download yours today. Now, here's your host and trading veteran, Grant Larson.
Well, hey everybody, this is Grant. So I hope your financial investing and trading journeys are going well and that you have an idea of where you're going with them. One time I was driving with my family. We were in a car. We had like a 12-hour drive ahead of us to do. And so we've been going for about, 11 and a half hours into the drive. And from the back of the car, our youngest child spoke up and she said, "Dad, do you know where you're going?" So, to her, it seemed like we were driving aimlessly around for hours, right? She was letting me know she couldn't take it anymore. And she was, of course, going to correct me, right? And say, "Hey, then go this way. Let's just go home, Dad. Clearly you're lost," right? Well, I tried to convince her that I knew the direction and where we were going. Whether or not I was successful, finally when we arrived, I was able to say, "See, I know where I was going." When I started trading options years ago, I was focusing on direction, but I found it to be a struggle. It was hard for me to say, what's the right direction? What are the things that can guide me on choosing direction? And so after a while, I decided to trade without direction. And in options, you can do that. In other words, what you're basically doing is you're trading in a way where you're saying, it's not likely that price is going to come into this area. And so you're actually trading the fact that it's improbable that price is going to come over into that area. And if price doesn't come over into that, into that area, then you end up making some money, right? What it means, if you're not familiar with that, it means that you sell the options and you take the money from the sell. You're hoping that, it never hits your option strike price. In fact, it's okay if it hits it, but if it stays there and camps out when the option expires, that's when you're in bad shape. Now, you can actually make money doing this, right? But what I learned through that was that, when you do take a loss, it's much larger than many months of profits. So here's what I mean. You might earn $100 to sell an option, and it's awesome. You're like, gosh, that was easy. I just made $100. I just sold that option and sat and did nothing, right? Okay. In the chance that it comes and hits your area, right, and comes and closes at that strike price where your option is, and the option expires while it's there, then you lose thousands of dollars, right? So it's not really a one-to-one trade-off, right? So here's how it works, right? You sell the option way away from the current price, right? You put that in an area where you think, hey, the price can't come into this area in a reasonable time. And so you want the option to expire way away from your price, and of course you pocket the money. One time though, I when I was trading options that way, there's about 10 minutes left on a Friday afternoon before the market closed, and it happened to be on a day when the option was about to expire. So with 10 minutes left, all of a sudden price came way up into my area, and it just stayed right there at my strike price area. Suddenly, it looked like I was going to lose thousands of dollars. I jumped out of my chair. I started bouncing around the room. I was watching the clock like I could hardly wait to be let out of a containment cell, right? What was going to happen? I was freaked out. I was like, are you kidding me? I learned, early on from one of my mentors to buy the probable and sell the improbable, right? So that's what I had done. I had sold the improbable. I had sold an option that was way out. It just wasn't conceivable, right? That price could get up there. Well, guess what? Turned out it was conceivable. It's kind of like that Princess Bride movie, right? Where the guy just keeps saying inconceivable. And the guy's finally like, I don't think you know what that word means. Well, that's what happens here. I sell the option way out there. The price comes in. There's 10 minutes left. Well, oh my gosh. Now it was 30 seconds before the market was going to close and I was going to lose thousands of dollars. That was, 10 minutes of pure misery. I was like, oh my goodness, it was going to wipe out all of my profits for the year from selling options. And all of a sudden, 20 seconds were left, and then 15 seconds, and 10 seconds, and I was besides myself. 5 seconds, and then suddenly, with 5 seconds left, the price dropped so fast, and it came way below my option strike price level. And I earned my $200 while risking thousands of dollars to get that. Now, I love to sell options, but, as I sat and I looked at that, I realized this is a really risky proposition to be able to say, oh, I'm going to make $200, but I'm going to risk thousands of dollars to get that, in the event that I'm wrong. And it felt like I had no control over the risk management side of that, right? So selling options is, of course, fun, and you can make some money, but you have very little control over the risk management part, right? And that starts to become the real challenge. So after my heart slowed down and I committed to myself, I'm going to work on picking the direction, right? And focus on risk management and do that, So, ringing in my ears was the comment from my daughter, Dad, do you know where you're going, right? Well, do we know where, the market's going? It's a challenge to pick the right direction. Do we really know where the market's going or where the instrument's going that you're trading? The answer is nope. But what we do know is how to invest and trade in highly probable locations with controlled risk. And that is actually the way that you invest, right? That's actually the way that you trade, is that you say, I'm going to pick the risk level that I'm comfortable with. I'm going to find highly probable locations and setups, and then I'm going to control my risk. And you've got to have it at least 1-to-1 or 2-to-1 or 3-to-1, meaning 2-to-1 reward to risk ratio, right? That's the way in which you move forward in this. It's about recognizing when price has moved away from value, right? Kind of like a sale at a clothing store, where that $200 dress is now selling for $68, right? Price has moved away from value. So you in the thing that you're trading, you got to know when it's moved into an area where the probabilities make it very high that now it will move in a certain direction. That's the price away from value opportunity. And then you put in controlled risk, say, I'm not going to permit any loss beyond a certain area. And you control the risk. You don't let someone that defines, what the option is, define what that risk is for you. You have no control over the fact that, I'm going to sell and get $200, but I'm going to risk, thousands of dollars to get that. What kind of deal is that, right? So you got to get to know the markets you're trading, of course, understand their structure and behavior, and pick the direction and control your risk. Hey, thanks for joining, and until next time, learn to identify your direction.
Thank you for joining Grant on Financial Investing Radio. Remember to subscribe and leave feedback. Don't forget to download your free roadmap to high probability financial control before you make an investment decision. Visit financialinvestingradio.com now.